We live in a society that dictates our life down to the smallest details. How to interact with one another, how to dress, behave, plan your life, even who we're meant to be. But have you ever sat there and wondered, who am I, really? It's easy to fall into the trap of forgetting who you are and changing yourself to fit in with the expectations of society. But it's not your responsibility to live up to the life others want for you. You don't have to be confined to the idea of how others think you are or should be. The Courage to be Disliked by Koga and Kishimi instantly became a best-selling book in Japan, and it's now a global phenomenon, and for a good reason. The book encourages you to be happy by living authentically, by being the person that you truly are. The book explores the theories of Alfred Adler, one of the three giants of 20th century psychology, alongside Freud and Jung. It tells the story of 5 daily conversations between a philosopher and a young man, fed up with how his life has turned out. In this video, I will summarise the 5 conversations from the book, which will help you clear your mind of negative thoughts and attitudes, enabling you to make a lasting transformation and find true happiness just by being yourself. So let's dive right in. Night 1. Deny trauma. In Adlerian psychology, trauma is effectively denied, and this is the most controversial topic of the first night and perhaps the entire book. While Freud believed that a person's traumas were the source of their current distress, Adler argued that the link between childhood experiences and adult unhappiness is a self-created narrative that serves their own purposes. Because, think about it, if the past determined everything and was unchangeable, there would be no free will. No person would be able to strive for a better future, and they'd stay in one place pretending they're just a poor little me. The book says that no experience is in itself a cause of our success or failure. Nothing is actually determined by those influences. Why? Well, because you're not determined by your experiences, but by the meaning that you give to them. You don't suffer from the shock of your experiences, the trauma, but instead you make out of them whatever suits your purpose. This is undoubtedly a tough pill to swallow, particularly when we consider the traumatic events that we or other people have gone through. Adlerian psychology says that while traumatic experiences are unavoidable, you have the power to shape how these past experiences affect your current and future choices. Night 2. All problems are relationship problems. If you're married, you might know what I mean here. On the second night, the young man revealed his feelings of dislike for himself. He accepted his flaws and allowed them to define him. Think about this for a second. Do you do this? When you allow your flaws to define you, you lose strength and you end up convincing yourself that the situation can't be changed. If it can't be changed, then why try to change it, right? I'm not well educated, so I can't succeed, or I'm not good looking, so I can't get in a relationship. This is known as an inferiority complex, where feelings of inadequacy are used as an excuse for doing nothing about it. However, these excuses are simply a way of avoiding the hard work and dedication that is necessary to achieve any kind of success. But the thing is, our flaws are always related to other people, whether that's by direct comparison, expectations, or societal norms. Jokingly, Adler suggests that literally the only way to overcome this is to live in complete isolation. However, humans are social creatures, so it's impossible to really do that. If we want to resolve our problems, we need to change how we are interacting with others. And the key thing here is changing ourselves, not changing others. The cards of your relationships are not held entirely by the other person. You're not supposed to just be a people pleaser. Focus on changing yourself and your relationships, not others. Night 3. Discard other people's tasks. On the third night, the philosopher speaks about the fact that many of us desire to be loved and accepted by others. This is the heart of the book, and it's something that many of us struggle with, including myself. It can sometimes be too hard for me to say no to things that don't serve me, and it can sometimes get to a point where I would begin to sacrifice my own happiness and peace for other people's validation and acceptance instead of just saying no. Adlerian psychology states that you must stop trying to please everyone and discard the need for external validation. If you're constantly trying to satisfy the expectations of others, you'll forever be fed up with yourself, and it can be an exhausting, difficult life to live, right? The way to make a change is to recognize the meaning of the everyday things that you do. So when performing a task, ask yourself, whose task is this? This question can really help shift your perspective on who you're actually doing things for. Are you doing this for you or them? If the task is primarily for the benefit or the idea of someone else, you might want to limit this. Night 4. The center of the world. On the 4th night, the young man is struggling with his idea of loneliness. But what is loneliness exactly? If you think about it, if nothing else really exists around you but yourself, then you become the center of the world, right? That doesn't really sound healthy. Adlerian psychology says that we are all part of a larger community. After all, a community exists in every part of life. Any plant, mineral, or animal across the entire planet has their own community. When you feel a sense of community, and I guess more importantly a sense of belonging and connection to that community, you will become more aware of your surroundings, and you will demonstrate more care and consideration. No one is the center of the universe. No one is more important than anyone else. Having the attitude of being the center of the world or being more important than someone else just leads to a belief that others exist solely to serve us. And so we're always thinking of what we can get from them rather than what we can give. To truly show commitment to your community, you've got to focus on what you can give, what you can contribute, rather than what you can take. Night 5. To live in earnest in the here and now. On the 5th and final night, the philosopher explains that life is about living for the series of moments between your starting point and your destination, or as he puts it, living earnestly. It means living in the here and now. I touched on this topic in my summary of Man's Search for Meaning. That is because life is all about the process itself. It's about the battles, the climb. What else is there to live for once you've achieved it all? The philosopher says a life lived earnestly is a complete life, even if you weren't able to reach your destination. My advice is to strive to live in the present moment rather than dwelling on the past or worrying about the future. The past and the future are nothing more than illusions, and they have no bearing on our reality. If you focus on living earnestly and in the present, you can free yourself from the anxieties of the past and the future. By being free from that anxiety, you're then able to focus solely on the present moment and enjoy the process. Having the courage of being disliked is the belief that true growth and freedom come from living authentically and a resolve to stand up for what you believe in, even in the face of criticism and judgment from those around you. Many times people tend to blame others or circumstances for their lack of happiness. However, you have far more control over your life than you think. You can control how you perceive others, how you perceive yourself. You can control how much ego you put into your interactions and how much you care about giving to others. It is within your own power to unlock your happiness, and that power does not come from anyone or anywhere else. Be yourself, live freely, and have faith that by staying true to yourself, you will draw in people who will love and support you just as you are. Before I read this book, I would always find myself worrying about other people's opinions of me, which was completely draining me of my energy. But now, I can safely say that I care a lot less about other people's judgments or opinions about me. In fact, I enjoy being myself. I embrace my authenticity. It feels really good, and I hope after watching this video, you'll be able to do the same too. The courage to be happy also includes the courage to be disliked. When you have gained that courage, your interpersonal relationships will all at once change into things of lightness. And as always, thanks for watching.